Welcome to the Montana Rod Makers Guild. I'm Rick Plant. Today I'm going to show you how to set a taper on the bamboo hand plane. It's very simple. Right now all I'm going to do is take the cutter head off. There's 2 screws, and I'm going to put my dial indicator on. Again, it's just 2 screws. I'm going to put my plane on. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to raise my dial until the needle stops moving. There it is. I'm going to move over to station 1, turn my dial to 0. At this point, I'm going to put my plane weight on. The reason we use a plane weight is so we have consistent pressure as we set our taper. Since this is a roughing anvil, I'm going to set what I call a generic taper. I'm just going to set a taper of, say, 6/1000 every 5 inches. Station 1, I'm going to have it 0. I'm going to move to station 2. You'll see this green line. That lines up in between my push-pull screws, and that's where I want my dial indicator to be when I set my taper. So right here on station 2, I'm just going to simply move up, and I'm going to go just above 6/1000. And with my pull screw, I'm going to snug it up, and I have 6/1000. I move to station 3. And here I want 12. You can see I'm sitting at 17, so I need to pull that down. I'm going to pull it down just below 12. And then with my push screw, to get the 2 screws snug, right, I'm just going to snug it up. Again, you don't have to be really tight with your push-pull screws, because when you're planing, all the pressure is down. This next one, I want 18, so I'm going to go just above 18. And then with my pull screw, I snug it up, and there's 18. And I'm going to continue this all the way to station 13. All right, I'm at station 12. So again, I'm going to go just maybe a 0.5 over just to snug them up. And station 13. So really amount of pressure that I put on between the 2 screws, the push-pull screws, is maybe a 0.5. Once I've done them all, I do want to go back and just double check. Starting at station 1, I have 0. 6, 12, 18, 24, and I'm going to check them all. The reason I do that is obviously when you're changing 13 positions and you have all those screws moving, something could move. So it's always a great idea just to go back and double check, make sure everything is where you placed it. All right, I'm going to take my dial indicator off, and again, it's just 2 screws. And I'm going to put my cutter head on. And now I'm ready to start planing. All right, so I've set a generic taper on my roughing anvil. When I'm roughing, I'm actually going to take the hold down attachment off. And the reason for that is my strip right now, it's just been split out of a comb. It's rectangular in shape. It does not have an apex on it with a V, right? So if I don't take this off, this is actually going to get hung up as I do my planing. And I don't need this guide for rough planing. So I'm going to take that off. Now I'm ready to plane. At this stage, I've done my node work. I've drilled a hole in the end of my strip where I'm going to mount it. You can see where I've just split it. It's just rectangular in shape. There's no angle on it at all. For this particular rod, I'm going to mount in hold down station A, and that corresponds with my stop location. So my hold down position is A. I'm going to use stop location A. The distance between the stop and the hold down screw is the distance between the heel and my carbide inserts. Now, since I've set a taper, my rod is actually higher out here than it is here. So I'm simply going to slide my plane down, find where it starts to come in contact with the bamboo. Since I've set a taper, my bamboo is higher out here than it is here. So I'm going to slide my plane down, and I'm just going to look to see where my cutters start to come in contact with the bamboo. And you can see there, I cut just a little bit. So that gives me my starting point. These strips have been soaking for about 24 hours. I recommend that when you're doing your roughing on the bamboo hand plane, you can soak your strips anywhere from 24 to 48 hours. We have found no ill effects to soaking strips. After I do my roughing, then I will heat treat my strips. So at this stage, since they've been soaking for so long, I can probably take a pass of, say, 10 thousandths at a time. And you can see it cuts really easy because they've been soaking for so long. Now, how far you rough your strips is entirely up to you as the maker. Some people will rough them to, say, 100 thousandths oversize. Some people will go as small as 30. You will figure out what works best for you in your shop as you gain experience. But by soaking the strips, all right, you can see the roughing is actually pretty easy. And what's nice about this, I'm actually cutting a taper on my strips right now, unlike a lot of power bevelers that just cut straight. So I'm actually getting to be ahead of the game here by roughing on here and roughing with a taper. When I do this, if I'm making rods, again, I'm going to do a batch. I might do enough for 3 to 4 rods. That way I don't have to change the anvil as often, and I can do multiple rods pretty quickly. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a call at the Montana Rod Makers Guild.